Found this handsome young gentleman eating breakfast this morning. Can you identify yourself and share some of your thoughts about why live streaming is a good idea to you?
First off, my name is Ronny Jordan. I'm originally from London, but I'm now a U.S. resident, and I've been a recording artist for 20 years. I joined my first band back in 1974, and I was raised in a church. And shortly afterwards, I started playing jazz, and I joined my first jazz band in 1980. And from then on, I've performed all over the world. Been very fortunate and blessed. The live stream music is something that has to be done. It needs to be done. And I'm so glad that it's going to be in the capable hands of someone who's qualified to do this. I think it's going to have legs, and I'm looking forward to being a huge part of it.
You were talking to someone the other day about before we met, about why you thought someday someone's going to do this. Why do you think the time is right to do something like this?
Because of the internet, the wide access, it's now a beast, because with the internet, almost anything's possible. And it was a matter of if, but when it was going to be done. Mm-hmm. With all the streamline, YouTube, with all the connections and everything, it was just a matter of when, someone was going to really put it all together. And I've met these guys today.
Why is live music so important for you as an artist to connect to your fans?
Live music is you, meaning seeing is believing. The studio is so full of gadgets and tricks that the audience, they don't get to see us record in the studio. So they say, well, you say this is my record, and they know it's your record, and they'll support it. But like I said, seeing is believing, and live is when the audience can get the true essence of the artist, what that artist is about, their aura, their persona, and it's really, it shows the artist in his or her true light. Mm-hmm. And on stage, without all the fancy lights, tricks, and stage stuff on stage, this is the artist doing a raw set. This is the artist as how you will see him or her, or hear him or her. So live is where it's at.
And you might not even be with all the other musicians in your band when you're recording in a studio.
That's right. You have computers now, sequences. But live, they see it being done. It's the real thing. Live is what music is all about. And it's like it's gone back to that now. Mm-hmm. And for me, live music separates the men from the boys. If you can't cut it live, then you don't belong in the music business.
How's the music business today different from the business when you were coming up in it?
The music business today is a lot more crowded. Now there are a lot more independent artists. And so it's more competitive. And of course there are better deals to be had as an independent artist as opposed to a signed artist. The idea of owning your own masters, owning your own publishing, and making your own money, that appeals to a lot of artists. And the record industry, for me, back in the 80s and 90s, they were so aloof. They never saw this thing coming, where, the internet, the influence of the internet, and they were sort of caught lagging behind. The business is totally different now. I don't think there's a real industry anymore. The recordings, it's like, ever since that old Milli Vanilli incident, things have changed. Because an artist sings on a record doesn't mean it's that artist. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, an artist will do a record, and it will be a hit, and it's got effects and stuff. And when you go to see that artist live, more often times than not, you're disappointed. Because that's not the sound you were hearing. Mm-hmm. So I think the public are a little more cynical. Mm-hmm. And they'll believe it when they hear it, when they see it.
That's why we're going to bring it to them.
That's right. It has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think your fans will react? Your fans, to be able to see it that way?
The songs?
To be able to see your live shows, your fans.
Right.
How do you think they'll react to that?
It's live. They're getting the whole thing, the whole vibe, spirit of it. There's nothing like playing live for the audience, seeing you do it. You know, there's no hiding this. You know, you're exposed. Mistakes and all, you just let it hang out. And they love it. You know, it's real. Life is real. You know, that's what it's about. And they love it. It's like watching a game on TV, be it NBA, Super Bowl, you know, but being there is really something else. But with the internet, the way the internet is now, the streamlines, that's all possible. You can do so much. Just, you know,
Yeah. Gentlemen, have anything to add in terms of your attitude towards live streaming music or how you would use the medium?
Well, I guess I see it as being an opportunity for, you know, all these artists that are out there to be seen and heard. So, you know, it's an amazing idea, I think. An awesome idea. So.
And as, if I may interject on what Ronnie was saying, it separates the
men from the
men
boys.
from the boys. You have so many guys now who are able to push a button on a, say for instance, a Logic or Pro Tools studio, and then they can interject their ideas on actual tape on a disc and put it out there, and when you actually go see these guys perform, you say, hey, wait a minute, they don't sound anything like the record. Why not? And usually it's because they take one finger to make the project, but it takes all 10 fingers to actually play.
It's not only that, they did not put the time and effort in the road. Like if you study all the great artists from the 40s, beyond, 50s, 60s, 70s, before they entered the recording studio, they put their time and effort in the road.
Right.
A lot of great actors, for instance, now, before they appeared in movies, they put the time in on the stage,
Right.
in the theater.
Right.
They honed their craft. We honed our craft on the road. I joined my first band in '74, but my first time in a recording studio was 1980. You know, and so, and then of course, 12 years later, or was it 11 years later, I recorded my first album in '91. So by the time I recorded my first album, I had enough experience under my belt that when I recorded my first album, they were like, well, where had you been? You know, you just came up like this. But they didn't know that I've been like honing my craft, paying my dues, because what you put in is what you get out. And like I said, live music is the real deal.
So you